The study, supported by the British Heart Foundation and published in the European Heart Journal, is the first to assess how different movement patterns throughout the 24-hour day are linked to heart health. It is the first evidence to emerge from the International Prospective Physical Activity Sitting and Sleep ProPASS consortium. Cardiovascular disease, which refers to all diseases of the heart and circulation, is the number one cause of mortality globally. In 2021, it was responsible for 1 in 3 deaths, with coronary heart disease alone the single biggest killer. Since 1997, the number of people living with cardiovascular disease across the world has doubled and is projected to rise further. In this study, researchers at UCL analyzed data from 6 studies encompassing 15,246 people from 5 countries to see how movement behavior across the day is associated with heart health as measured by 6 common indicators. Each participant used a wearable device on their thigh to measure their activity throughout the 24-hour day and had their heart health measured. The researchers identified a hierarchy of behaviors that make up a typical 24-hour day, with time spent doing moderate vigorous activity providing the most benefit to heart health, followed by light activity, standing and sleeping, compared with the adverse impact of sedentary behavior. The team modeled what would happen if an individual changed various amounts of one behavior for another each day for a week, in order to estimate the effect on heart health for each scenario. And replacing sedentary behavior, as little as 5 minutes of moderate to vigorous activity had a noticeable effect on heart health. The researchers says that the big takeaway from their research is that while small changes to how we move can have a positive effect on heart health, intensity of movements matters. The most beneficial change they observed was replacing sitting with moderate to vigorous activity, which could be a run, a brisk walk, or stair climbing. Basically, any activity that raises our heart rate and makes us breathe faster, even for a minute or two. The researchers pointed out that although time spent doing vigorous activity was the quickest way to improve heart health, there are ways to benefit for people of all abilities. It is just that the lower the intensity of the activity, the longer the time is required to start having a tangible benefit. Using a standing desk for a few hours a day instead of a sitting desk, for example, is a change over a relatively large amount of time, but is also one that could be integrated into your working routine fairly easily, as it does not require any time commitment. Those who are least active were also found to gain the greatest benefit from changing from sedentary behaviors to more active ones. Though the findings cannot infer causality between movement behaviors and cardiovascular outcomes, they contribute to a growing body of evidence linking moderate to vigorous physical activity over 24 hours with improved body fat metrics. Further long-term studies will be crucial to better understanding the associations between movement and cardiovascular outcomes.